Good morning everyone and welcome back to what is week 5 of the Grand Organ Rebuild. We are today getting on with the last few ranks of pipes in this front section, and then we're on to the big wind section or the pneumatic side. I've got a few little things to do. These dowels that hold the boards in place, we're missing some over the years. I think they put some in and then they've a few broke, so they've dotted them around, and we need to make another 10 of these. So I'm going to get Mick to give me a hand.
Yeah, I'll give him a hand this morning.
So yeah, it's all going to be good. We've got a surprise waiting outside, so we're going to go and see what's there. So let's crack on.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another video. So as you can see, we've now got some scaffolding in the chapel, which means we can start work on the beautiful ceiling in the chapel. So the scaffolding we've got came from a company called ScaffoldingTowersFrance.com. And this company is absolutely amazing. So the scaffolding comes from England, from an amazing company called UTS, and it's sold in France. Because in France, if you wanted to buy a scaffolding tower like this, it would cost you probably a minimum of 7,000 euros. But the company, ScaffoldingTowersFrance.com, are selling them. A tower like this is about 2,800 euros, which is the cheapest scaffolding you will find anywhere. So if you want the scaffolding like this, you can put a deposit down and you pay the rest on delivery, which is absolutely amazing. So a nice bit of trust there. You don't pay until you receive it. So if you want to check them out, link in the description. Yeah, let's get up there, see how bad that ceiling is.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the chapel ceiling. Now, we managed to get up here. We've kindly been sponsored this scaffolding tower, which is amazing. It came just at the right time, and we are able to do this because you purchased the prints, which are funding this project. So I just want to thank you for that, first of all. Now, let's have a look. So there's a lot to take in. Obviously, there's some areas here that are, can you see that? That is loose. So first of all, we're going to have to stabilize those areas, and that involves injecting, it's like a special adhesive. You'd have a syringe with a big syringe with a needle, and you would carefully inject this new bonding agent behind, and then probably stabilize it, and then that would stop it from moving any further. So once we've done that, there are a lot of cracks which can just be filled just to make it sound. And then we have to think about paints. So first of all, what paint is this? That's really important. I've had a look at it, and I think it's a distemper. Now, a distemper is a very old type of paint, not like the modern ones which are acrylic-based. It's actually, let me just get this bag here. This is hide glue. Now, this is actually what we've been using on the organ. And distemper paint is a mixture of hide glue, water, and calcium carbonate, which is chalk, basically. And you can put some other things in it. And then to that mixture, you would add the pigments. So we'll have to make all of the paint for this ceiling. And let's talk pigments. So let me have a little look. What I need to do is actually, while I'm up here, I need to take some little samples. So it'll be some bits of flakes of paint that are loose. And then I can go away and I can analyze them. But looking at this, I could probably tell you straight away that this sort of beige color, well, not beige, it's more of a, well, it's ochre, which is a natural earth pigment. I've got a feeling that this color here is probably burnt sienna, which is, it's a type of soil, like a clay soil from Siena in Italy. It comes from France now as well. And they bake it, and it turns this beautiful orangey, browny red color. Looking at this yellow, it looks like quite a transparent yellow. So I can tell you now that this is a pigment called weld. Now, it's what they used don't use these pigments anymore, people, but now it was something that was used from the medieval era up until probably the 19th century. So weld, I can get that. I know where to buy that from, as a pigment manufacturer in Germany. This, I don't know what this is, like a violet-y color, but I think it's faded. So this could have been a cochineal-based red that's had a blue added to it, which would obviously, they're fugitive pigments, so they change color over time and fade. So that might have to be redone. There's gold leaf here. That'll be 24 karat gold leaf, just there. Let's see if we can shine the light on it. You can get a bit of a reflection. Now this color is an old kind of pigment called woad. Now that is made from the root of a plant, and you might know it as indigo. And I think these doves here, if you can see them, they've been silver leafed. Let me turn the light up a bit. Yeah, it's definitely silver leaf, but it's obviously faded over time, so that needs redoing. That is definitely indigo, I can tell you now. So already without analysing them, I can tell you what pigments have been used. So we can make new paints, and we could probably change this pigment from indigo. We can get hold of lapis lazuli pigment. Now that's very, very expensive, but we might be able to afford a little jar to make some paint. So imagine gold, silver, and lapis lazuli. That's probably one of the most expensive pigments in the world, apart from gold. So we can really sort this out. Now, if you look at the sides, you can see these areas here. There's a red paint, which is faded. It probably would have been much brighter originally, and that is, the paint would be like, what's it called? Not carmine. Carmine, which is made from cochineal beetles, and they bind that with an inorganic binder like alum or potash or something like that. Funnily enough, I actually have that pigment at home. I bought it for another project. So we probably can recreate all of these paints, handmade by me, and it'll literally just be a case of me up here with a paintbrush. Now, once all of these cracks are stabilized, I will probably repaint this blue part, because it's in a really bad state. I will probably repaint the entire blue and then just do touch-ups on the rest. I'm going to re-gild everything, so all of these gold bits. Gilding, you probably only get a good life of about 30 years before it goes dull. So we'll redo all the gold, we'll clean it all, we'll make it beautiful, and hopefully the main thing is we'll be able to stabilize it for the future. Now, unfortunately, you can see it goes up and down, it undulates, the ceiling has moved. It's a vaulted ceiling, and there have been some metal rods added above. Now, you would think that would be to hold the ceiling up, but actually not. It's actually to hold the ceiling down, because these barrel vaults, they want to pop up naturally, they want to spring open. And the braces in the roof, we'll probably show you those later, they are to hold the ceiling down. But once we can stabilize it, we can paint it, and it'll be done. It just might take a little bit of time, but we have time, so we'll do that. So there you go. Actually, while I'm here, I'm going to get some samples. Get some samples of paint.
Excuse the flies as well.
Excuse the flies, because the thing is, normally flies go dormant in the winter. They go to sleep, they hibernate. But we've got a lot of heaters down on the ground there, and obviously heat rises. So up here is a lovely little warm place for the flies to, they've all woken up. So first of all, I'm going to take some of this blue paint. I don't have a microscope, but if I can get a cheap enough one, I can probably, there we go. I can probably have a look at these under the microscope and see what, I've dropped it. There we go. Let's take another piece. It's all got to be repaired anyway. I might take a larger piece. I'm not too bothered about the other pigments. They're probably, we can work out what they are from, but the blue, I'm not sure what it is. If you hold the bag, Alex, there we go. Cheers, mate.
Okay.
Lovely jubbly. Right, there we go. Let's get this piece.
How do we do this? Do I try and hold it under?
Yeah, hold it under. There you go.
Gotcha.
So we have some samples of the blue, which is the most important colour. I need to work out what that is. Is my head torch gone off? Yeah, I need to work out what this blue is. It's probably like an indigo that's just been mixed with a white, probably a lead white or something like that. Now, an interesting point before we go. This, you see this here, this residue. Now, what's happened is there've been leaks in the roof in the past, which has now been fixed. But you can see as it's got wet, now this hide glue, that is what that is. You can see it's leached out of the paint. Now this is the binder for the paint. So just from that alone, I can tell you that this is hide glue based distemper paint. So we'll just make new stuff. You can't buy it like this. You probably can't buy this color in distemper. So it'll have to all be mixed by hand, adjusted until it's an exact match. And then all of this blue will be repainted. So it's fresh, like the day it was done. Unfortunately, we can't fix the wonky bits, but it's part of its character. So we just it's got to be sympathetic, and that's the main thing. You can't just go in here and put a modern acrylic paint over that. Oh, it looks great, but it's you've got to preserve it historically, and you have to do it the way that they did it, so that it's correct and as it should be. So we're going to take good care of this ceiling, and we're going to do it properly, and that's thanks to you guys. So let's go back down.
Right, so we are nearly on top of the world. This is the other side of what Michael was showing you earlier. So this is it looks very dirty. It does need a clean. It needs a bit of work just to get it all clean and tidy. And then once it's all clean, then at a later date, I think we were going to think about a little bit of insulation or something.
Yeah, it will be insulated just to keep it warm. So yeah, so this is the barrel vault that is actually over the top of the chapel. And in between here, there are oak boards which are nailed to the underside, and to that are added wooden lathes, and over that is a layer of lime plaster, and which is really interesting because we need to find out the exact composition of the original plaster that was put on the underside, and that is because the cracks that need stabilising and the loose pieces of plaster, there have to be a lime-based injectable grout injected into them. So but that's on the other side. This is the actual construction of it, and you can see they've got these oak braces, and there are actually curved pieces of oak.
Yeah, and Michael was just talking about the actual way that it's constructed. If you look, there are these little triangle pieces. You can just see as you look down there. And what that does, as Michael was saying, it actually stops the roof popping up. So you'd think it would want to fall down, but just by the very shape of the construction, it actually wants to go up, because if it started to go out, the top would come up. So all this is here, and you might be able to see just there. They've even put a few little weights on. They've got, over the years, as things move and they weaken, they've patched it as they've gone. So
yeah,
it's really cool.
Well, as Nick said, with the barrel vault, the more weight you can put on the top of it, the better,
because it kind of keeps it all locked together.
It keeps it in that curved shape, in the barrel shape. Obviously, without any weight on the top, it will pop up almost like the top of an egg, and that's not very strong that way.
But what we were saying, when you look from underneath, you can't really get the scale of it, and you can't see the actual contours of the ceiling itself. But like Michael was saying, these boards are very, very strong, and they form a really rigid construction. And yeah, I mean, really, it's just to get, I guess one of the biggest things, Michael, would be to get rid of the dust and the dirt. So obviously, once it's completed, you don't want any of that stuff coming through, which might stain from behind, because it's so porous, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I want to have a look down this way. So as you can see here, you've got these X-shaped trusses. Now, it's sort of built like an upside-down ship, really. In fact, very similar, almost like an inside-out ship, the way that these trusses are constructed. It goes right the way along. And interestingly, if you can see here, there is like a pulley system. It's a wooden block with an iron thing, and that is actually a winch for the chandeliers that used to be in the chapel. There used to be 3. I can only imagine they were absolutely fabulous. And yeah, that's how you got them up and down, to clean them. And probably to put candles in them originally, because they wouldn't have had electric when this was built. Now, we think this part is 18th century. So that's 17 something. This was constructed, so it's very old.
It looks like it's had a new roof. It's in very good condition, and you can tell you can kind of age the roof from just looking these little crotchets which clip under the tiles and hold them in position. They're
they were only utilised from the 1970s onwards.
crotchets.
So that would have been traditionally before with little pegs?
It would have been nailed
Yeah,
on,
little
yeah.
nails.
Before that, but these are, as you said, these are stainless steel, which is even more recent. So this could be 20 years old, this roof.
Or less?
Or less.
Very good though, it looks...
And yeah, that's the most important thing, because if you can keep the ceiling dry, I think a lot of the damage has occurred from it being wet.
Yeah.
So at least it's dry for the future, and we know that whatever repairs we do will be in good condition for a long time after that. They're safe.
So the plan of attack is clean, make sure it's all nice and clean up here, and then, or at a similar time, then start doing underneath.
Perfect.
Yeah. Weekend job.
So I'm back in the kitchen now, everyone, and as you can see, I've done every single door. I managed to sand them all and give them one coat of Osmo. I was in here Saturday morning and some of the afternoon trying to finish that off, so I don't bore you too much because it's the same thing at the moment. I'm just Osmoing and Osmoing. So yeah, I've started this end. I've actually done this end already, and I'm going to work my way along, do all the carcass, and then later today I'm going to do the top. And then hopefully it's dry tomorrow and I can give it a second coat, and then it's done, completely done. And then I've got a few other things to do as well. So yeah, let's crack on.
Now, we ran into a problem on Friday, and that was that I had no idea what a mixture stop meant. Now, we've since worked out that you will have, when you press a key on the keyboard, you won't just get one note sounding, you'll get several, which makes up a chord. And you would play the mixture stop, you never really play it on its own, you play it with other stops, so you get, like, you know, you're pressing one note, but you're getting other notes with it in sort of harmony, and then that way you get a much fuller, richer sound. As if you're pressing more keys than you are. You've only got 10 fingers, you can't, and 2 feet, you can't press, there's only so many keys you can press. But this gives you more range from what you're playing. So we're working it out. We've been on the phone to Father Paul via message, and I've read so many different articles over the weekend and watched YouTube videos and things like that to try and work it out. So what I can tell you is that this is the bottom C. Now, the numbers written on here are 1, and then this one is the bottom CC, which has got 2. And that means that that is the second pipe that goes with that one, so 1 plus the second. So I think these low ones only play 2 pipes at a time. So what we're doing is, we're laying out these pipes, which are the root pipes in the chord, and they should be in size order, which they are, which is helping. And the ones that go with them, I'm just sort of putting them in the top of the other pipes at the minute so that they stay together. So what you'll get is, you'll press a key, and you'll get not just this, you'll get, and tuning them is difficult because there's different ways to tune instruments, okay? So you get, there's 12 notes in a scale. So say you'll start at A, all the way up to the next A, but you don't include the next A because that's the start of the next scale. So you'll get 1, including the black keys and the white keys. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, normally in a scale, you tune to equal temperament. So that's the degree of separation between each note in frequency is exactly the same. Now, but when you're tuning these mixtures of notes, you tune the in-between notes to something called intonation, or just intonation, which means it's actually not the exact degree of separation. It's slightly off, but it sounds better to the ear. If that makes sense.
Well, it is definitely challenging, but we've now got them.
Are these all together?
Yeah, these are. So they're all numbered, and what you've got, what Michael was saying, so he's working, what you can see is the larger notes, and then I'm working on the smaller ones, but every single one of the smaller ones is numbered. What then we'll do is we'll take them and we'll put them, as Michael's done here, and we can put them in ranks so that from the biggest note to the smallest. The denominator is written on here, so as Michael said, you've got whatever the note is, then you've got a series of numbers. What I can now see really clearly is when we have a D and it has, say, number 3 on it, there will be 3 other parts to that piece, or it might, like Michael said, be 5 or 4.
3 in total, I think.
Yeah, so we just need to, once these are out and they're all numbered, we'll know exactly what should be in that key. Then the next challenge is to put them in the correct place within the board.
So that can't be right, because that means with this pipe there's 12 pipes that play from one note. I don't think that's right. So I believe...
An offset. That's the offset, the 12, isn't it?
It's the offset, maybe. So it's a 12th.
What Michael was talking
So
about,
it means
the
it's 12 notes up in the scale from that note.
Yeah. There you go. And if any of that made any sense whatsoever, but we will we'll get there, because we have, they're all, at least they're legible, and then what that means is it's just a case of deciphering it from there.
Well, we don't want any more ciphers. Yeah, didn't we have an organ builder here last week?
This is all good, because what you've got there, so I've now got every single one of these. They're all numbered and they're all exactly right within the rank. So you in here, just for example, you've got 3 Bs, 3 tiny little Bs, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Gs. So that's perfect.
Good afternoon, everyone.
So what are you doing with these slabs?
They're going in front of the stables. At the moment it's just stone, and when it rains it gets all muddy in there, so we're going to take out all the old stone and lay these slabs right down through. And some outside the cottage as well.
Lovely. And where are they from?
They come from the footpath out the back. Straight through these doors here, there was 2 footpaths went right round, and we've just taken a fraction of them. There's about 20 times more, or more than that even, left out there. But I don't know whether Billy's going to leave them or we're going to take them all up. But they come in handy for us.
Yeah, it's nice that they're not being wasted as well.
Well, that's right, yeah.
Going down the duchet.
But when we jet wash them, they come up like brand new, don't they, Dennis?
With cars here,
Yeah, carrots, yeah.
perfect.
Perfect. Well, good luck. It looks like a heavy load.
Yeah, I can have more of them.
So in Indiana Jones, there was like lots of different codes, and it didn't mean anything to anyone, but that's what it's all about, deciphering the code. And
Nick's done it. He worked it out.
The only way I worked out, it was more by luck than judgment. It was that when I was laying all the very small pipes out, I noticed that there were 2 of each, and then I looked at the number above, and then I saw what Michael had done with the larger ones, and it was really simple. At the end of it, it was the big number, it denotes where they go. The small
Like as in
number,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the scale.
and the smaller number is where they are in that series. So we've we're moving on.
So for example, this pipe has 1 and then a 1 below it, which means that it's the first pipe on the keyboard, and it's that, and then 1 below it means it's the first pipe in that set, and that one means it's the first one, and it's the second pipe in that group.
There you go.
And that wasn't obvious, was it? It was so obvious. We just couldn't see the wood for the trees.
I think that is one of that's always the thing, isn't it? It's always, you're always trying to think of it being really.
Yeah, but I thought that denoted the scale of separation. And then I was trying to work out what a 15th
We
is.
got well
and a 15th is 2 octaves, but then you count
Not the black
the
one.
end one as, I don't know, Nick.
But it's all right. It's all right. It doesn't matter.
As I said before, these can't be tuned using equal temperament. They have to be used, they used to use intonation tuning, which is slightly off. So we tune the bass note to the rank that's already in, like oboes, which we've been doing.
Which is the fixed one.
And then you listen for, when you're tuning a note with another note, you'll hear the frequencies like one, 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 one. One of them will wobble, and then once you get into the, as you hit the note, they just becomes clear, like no wobble. So we do that, but that doesn't work with the other one that goes with it. That's to be done with intonation, which is more to do with how it sounds with another note, not, it's confusing.
It's like me and Michael when we start reverberating. And then we'll hopefully hit the right note, and then it's beautiful.
And if you can see here, as they go up, these root pipes get smaller and smaller and smaller.
But then
At one point, see that note will be the no. That's how it works. So what happens is, as you go up higher, you then start adding a lower note with it. So do like in pairs, like
because
so.
you have to complement. If it would just get so high pitched, and you wouldn't be able to differentiate.
Yeah.
But with the larger pipe, it just cuts the note. Bless you. Oh, here we are.
Right, and I think we should get the compressor and give these a little whiz
That
out.
bit of loving. Give
Get
them
the
a bit of
dust.
loving.
Because what you've got like this little sort of like I don't know what it's like, a reed or something like. I know it's got like little grooves in it. That gets too much dust in it. It won't make a very nice clear sound. So we'll give them a whoosh. Blow the cobwebs out.
Right, so I have done the sides, all of the doors. The carcass is basically done, it just needs a second coat. And I was meant to do the top today, but we cannot because we've got a special delivery tomorrow, and we might have to stand on top of this to put the special delivery up. So I don't want the Osmo to be wet tomorrow. So it may not dry in time. So yeah, tomorrow's going to be interesting. Is that a hint, is it, Alex? Why are you pointing the camera up there, Alex?
I'm not sure.
Anyway, yep, so as soon as the special delivery is in, fitted and sorted, then I'll Osmo the top because, yeah, like I said, it might not dry in time. So let's go and do something else. That has been an incredibly interesting day. What do you think, Nick?
I think very successful, loads has happened. Scaffolding tower from?
Yes, scaffoldingtowersfrance.com. Thank you so much for providing the scaffolding tower. We can now start the repairs to the chapel ceiling, which is amazing. And if you are renovating in France and you need some scaffolding, I would suggest go there and nowhere else because they have the best deals.
And the best service.
The best service. So yeah, they do delivery as well. And I think there's a promotion on delivery, but yeah. Look on the website. So I'll put a link to the description and go and check them out. So yeah.
And we, cooperatively, Michael and I, have deciphered where all those mixed pipes go. So our next job is to put them in. So we'll be onwards and upwards to the last bit, which is the next tray. I've got to make up those little dowels, so we're going to turn them up, and then we'll be done with that side. And like we've said, we're going to then get on with the pneumatic side, the air side of it. So really looking forward to it.
So fantastic. Thank you everyone for watching this video today, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.